Here's why you should never have kids. Ever. And by the way, at this point, I've had a couple of them, so I should know what I'm talking about by now. At least in theory. Reason number 1. You will never sleep again. The moment we brought the first one into our home, it felt like we'd been scooped up by that giant claw from Toy Story and dropped into some surreal new reality that we were not at all prepared for. Suddenly, the simple concept of day and night seemed to dissolve into a blurry loop of timed feedings, diaper changes, and a desperate need to catch just enough sleep to survive for another round. Night and day melted into one another, as if Dr. Strange himself was out here warping the very fabric of our reality. Every moment felt endless and exhausting. Sleep, a distant memory, replaced by this shadowy existence where time and routine and any sense of predictability completely vanished. And yet, taking care of that little blob of potential, that tiny person who needed us for absolutely everything, was, in ways we never expected, humbling and deeply rewarding. Here was this little creature, unable to do anything on its own, besides wrap its little hand around your finger and look up with a kind of sincere smile that could melt a glacier. In the midst of all of the chaos and exhaustion, that smile alone kind of makes it all worthwhile. Reason number 2. Having kids limits your personal growth. If you're the type of person who worked their entire life towards finding balance through meditation, self-help books, and inspirational content, forget about having kids. You'll never have time to open another book ever again. Those books will just sit on a shelf gathering dust and collecting cobwebs, while you're too busy running from the avalanche of chaos that is parenting. Instead, raising a child will push your limits in ways you never anticipated, forcing you to shift every priority you once had. It will challenge your patience, your resilience, and your sense of responsibility, working them out like muscles at the gym, and you're gonna be jacked. On top of that, something truly fascinating happens in the process. Caring for a baby, and then a toddler, and then navigating each exhausting stage of your child's development will recontextualize your own entire childhood experience. Suddenly, you'll begin to see things from a perspective you never knew existed, uncovering parts of your psyche you never thought about. And sure enough, eventually you'll rediscover that dusty self-help collection you abandoned long ago. You'll realize that while having a child did stop you from finishing that book, you actually became a more grounded, more empathic, and more resilient version of yourself in the process. More so than any book could ever teach you. Reason number 3, say goodbye to your hobbies. Were you into learning to play the harmonica before? Painting, photography, whatever favorite activity you had going on, get ready to watch it get buried under a big pile of someday. Everything you've ever enjoyed will dissolve as you sink into a new world of crayon scribbles, building blocks, and baby toys that seem to somehow multiply overnight. Meanwhile, what others might call free time now becomes this mythical creature that you hear about, but you never actually see with your own eyes. The moment you have a second of downtime, something will inevitably require your immediate attention. Habits and hobbies that were once part of your daily routine will fade into the background. But let me tell you this, baby number 1 is just now learning how to scribble, and witnessing a tiny person discover their own passions and explore their own creativity in real time is something I never thought I'd be interested in. As someone who has made a living out of drawing, it fills my heart with unfathomable joy when they show me a scribble on a piece of paper that surely makes sense in their imagination. I mean, is it a bear? A butterfly? A cat? I haven't got a single clue, but I've never been more excited about something. Baby number 2 is just now discovering their hands, and I'm waiting patiently. So while it is true that hobbies go straight out the window as a parent, one thing that I used to do before that I still keep up with is my Brilliant lessons. They offer thousands of interactive lessons in math, data analysis, programming, and AI. With Brilliant, it's astonishingly easy to learn anytime, anywhere, right on your phone, with fun interactive lessons that you can do whenever you have just a few minutes at your disposal. What sets Brilliant apart is that it is crafted by an award-winning team of teachers, researchers, and professionals from MIT, Microsoft, Caltech, Google, and more. Each lesson is designed to focus specifically on problem solving rather than memorizing concepts. And this hands-on approach is a method that has been proven to be 6 times more effective than, say, watching lecture videos on YouTube. For example, Brilliant's growing number of programming courses are a great way to build foundations and learn real-world applications. Even if you know nothing at all about programming, you'll get familiar with Python right away and start building programs programs on day one with a built-in drag and drop editor. Not only that, but through their intuitive exercises, you will learn to think like a programmer as you rapidly expand your coding knowledge. So if you want to try it out completely for free for a full 30 days with no commitment whatsoever, visit brilliant.org/AndreiTserba, that's AndreiTerbea, or scan the QR code on screen right now, or you can simply click the link in the description. By using my custom link, you'll also get 20% off an annual premium subscription, and you will be supporting this channel, which I very much appreciate. So thank you, and thanks to Brilliant for sponsoring us. Now, reason number 4 why you shouldn't have kids is a very obvious one. If you have a solid relationship with your partner, why complicate it? Well, having kids can certainly add stress to a relationship, but what's unjustly overlooked, in my opinion, is how raising a kid together with your spouse becomes a powerful shared experience that strengthens a bond unlike anything else I've encountered. Parenting is like the ultimate teamwork exercise, full of challenges for sure, but also filled with moments of mutual pride and meaningful memories that shape both you as a couple as well as individuals. Maybe the closest thing to that is somewhat similar would be building a business together. I think that's a scenario that generates a similar series of obstacles and rewards, and that has the potential to bring two minds together towards a common goal. But as someone who has kind of delved into both of these worlds, I can say without a shadow of a doubt, for me at least, parenting takes the #1 spot in that sense. You shouldn't have kids because the world is overpopulated and we're gonna run out of space pretty soon, and it's all gonna turn into a hopeless Mad Max type dystopia where we hunt each other for food and fresh water. Except, that's the biggest lie you've been told. Statistically, we're in fact on a giant decline in birth rates, meaning most countries will actually die out over the next 100 years. China famously imposed a one-child policy in 1980 as a measure to control population growth. Now they're facing a legitimate demographic crisis, with too many elderly people and not enough young ones to support them. So this means a shrinking workforce, a giant strain on healthcare and social services, economic decline, and entire communities eventually becoming ghost towns. This is happening all over the world: Italy, South Korea, Greece, Japan, Poland, or Thailand. So while you've been worrying about overcrowding, we're actually heading towards a future where there aren't gonna be enough people to keep the show running. Reason number 6 for why you shouldn't have kids. Alright, I guess I can cut the shtick now. Here's the thing. I believe parenting has the potential to change anyone's life for the better. But the key word here is potential. Remember, I'm still the guy who made a series of videos titled Why Family Channels Shouldn't Exist. I think just based on the family content that's out there right now, there are some people in this world who should definitely not have been parents. So am I saying that you should close this video and start multiplying right now without somewhat of a plan? Of course not. I'm well aware of how controversial this entire topic is and how heated it can sometimes get between parents and people who say they don't want kids. So let me make it clear that I think everyone is free to choose whatever they want to do with their life. But I do think that in today's media, there's a huge focus on living your life hedonistically and putting off the idea of starting a family for an undefined notion of later, wasting valuable years of your life in the process. And I don't think there are enough reasonable voices out there that talk about how fulfilling it is to be a parent if you're willing to take that leap of faith. And of course, if you're not one of the 15% of couples worldwide who sadly can't conceive at all. So the comment section should be interesting to read. And in the meantime, if you're like me and you can't stop your brain from overthinking at night, go ahead and watch this next video on why we can't turn off our brains before falling asleep. As always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you again, hopefully soon.